Okay, so we got the 15mm G master lens here, and I'm on dynamic active stabilization at the moment. So we are experiencing that huge crop, and but as you can see, it's quite a bit wider than the 24mm I've tested earlier. And yeah, if you're gonna do a lot of shots like this, where you're physically gonna hold the camera and walk around, then this is a really nice option. Just change it. It's a bit heavier, obviously, so I'm gonna have to change hands a bit more often. But this is a nice option because it is so wide, and obviously because it is so wide, it also gives you that little bit of extra stabilization. So let me just run again. Okay, cool. See how that stabilization was with running. And this is not the only drawback to, or there's two drawbacks to this lens. The one is obviously it's a bit bulkier. This is the 14mm f1.8, but the G master lens, so it's a high quality lens, but it's quite heavy. It's quite a bit heavier than the, sorry, I have to catch my breath. Than the 24mm f2.8 I've tested with the previous video. So that's one of the things. It's also a bit bigger, so it's not exactly pocketable. You can't fit this in your pocket. The other thing is obviously because it's so wide, if you do want to take photos, it's not ideal because it's so wide. It's quite difficult to take photos with it. You're gonna have to stand really close to your subject in order to get him big enough in the frame. And if you sort of put the subject slightly on the side, it starts warping and it forms weird shapes. So it's very difficult to take photos with a wide angle lens and still keep the photo looking sort of natural and not too warped and skewed. So for photos, this is not ideal unless you know what you're doing. You also don't really want to crop in too much on the photo to negate the wide lens effect, because obviously this is only a 12 megapixel sensor. You're going to lose a lot of the quality if you take photos with the sensor. So that's basically the two drawbacks with this lens. But I think if you do actually do videos like this, then if you do a lot of videos like this, then I think this lens is amazing. Obviously, it's a 1.8, so it's quite nice and wide. It's got a bit of background blur, even though it's a 14mm, and it's nice for low light. So for those two reasons, it's actually a pretty good option. And yeah, I'm going to switch to active stabilization quickly. Because it's so wide, I think we might actually be able to use active stabilization and not just dynamic active. So we'll get a bit wider field of view, but because the lens is so wide, it might actually be a bit more stable. So let's check that out now. Okay, so now we are on active stabilization. So this might actually be fairly stable purely because this lens is so wide. So yeah, now we get an even wider field of view. So this is more like the GoPro experience. If you're used to vlogging with GoPros, then maybe this is the lens to go for. So there's actually one other bad thing about this lens. It is quite expensive. It's about double the price of the 24 f2.8. So it's double the size, double the price, probably about, no, I think it's a bit more than double the size, probably about double the weight as well. So yeah, but this is very wide. The other nice thing about wide lenses that I also do like is I can actually, now I'm holding the camera very close. It's like probably like, yeah, I can touch the lens. I'm literally this close to the camera. So you can actually be very close to the camera. So in noisy environments, if you put the camera this close, then your sound is very good. So you actually don't need any other mics. You can actually just use the onboard mic on the camera because you can just put the camera much closer to your face. So that's maybe another benefit of this lens, is because we can get so close. Obviously we might want to be in active stabilization and not dynamic active stabilization. Otherwise might be a little bit too uncomfortable for the viewer when your face is covering the screen. So yeah, this is Steve. If you like this video, remember to press the button. If you want to see more, remember to subscribe. Until next time, ciao.